Hey, yeah, hope all is well. Yeah, in this season, you cannot afford to put yourself last in this season. You truly cannot afford it. Some of you guys are genuine, you're kind hearted, right? You want everybody to feel seen, heard, helped. You want them to feel a sense of community. You want them to feel like they're not alone. You just want them to feel supported. But in this season, right, you cannot afford to put yourself last. A lot of the times we feel that way and we just want to accept everybody and embrace everybody with open arms, and that's okay to have a heart like that. But when we do that in an unhealthy way and we sabotage ourselves and we neglect ourselves, that is when it becomes unhealthy, and that's when we have to do a self-check and an inventory of how we're showing up, because truthfully, we cannot show up for other people without first showing up for ourselves. And if we're honest with ourselves, we try to go against the grain in that area. We try to, right, we become hard-headed, and we become stubborn in that area, thinking that we can take care of everybody else without first taking care of ourselves. But in this season, you cannot afford to put yourself last. Your dreams, your goals, your aspirations that you have for your life, you are not going to obtain those things by putting yourself last in this season. It's going to have to be some short-lived phone calls that were once 2 hours long and 3 hours long, right? It's going to have to be short-lived in this season, right? You're going to have to start telling a lot of people no in this season if you want to get to the next level of your life, because for a lot of us, it becomes unhealthy. It becomes unhealthy the way that we are showing up for other people. It's like we put all our eggs in one basket. We put all our eggs in their basket, and then when it's time for us to have eggs and we turn around and we need eggs, there's no eggs in our basket. And it's time's up for that. It's time's up for that. Because when we do that, our mental health suffers. Our mental health suffers a ton when we do that. And that's just not a life that we would want to live. And it gets tricky sometimes because it's like, right, God calls us to be servants and God calls us to serve, right? But we have to check in and make sure that we're not doing that in an unhealthy manner. If we're doing that in an unhealthy manner, yes, God wants us to do all that, but at the expense of our health is when we have to check in and reassess how we're showing up. And it's going to be, right, people that benefit from you operating at that level, people that benefit from you putting yourself last are going to be very upset with you putting yourself first. But you have to put yourself first anyway. You have to put yourself first anyway, because a lot of the times when we put ourselves last, it's people that they benefit from that, whether it's benefiting from our from having our time, from having our energy, just from having a listening ear. They want to emotionally dump, they want to trauma dump, they want to do, all these things. They just want to kind of take their paintbrush and use us as a canvas and just start going crazy on our canvas. And they don't want to erase nothing. They don't want to start over. They just want to dump everything onto us. And when you start to realize, like, no, I want to start this over, I want a fresh canvas, I want a clean slate, a lot of people are going to be upset with that, but you have to do that anyway. You have to set those healthy boundaries anyway, because the life that you want and the life that you want to live, that life of peace, that life of abundance, that life of health and wealth, that is on the other side of you being selfish. Sometimes you got to be selfish, and sometimes you have to choose yourself above everybody else. You have to choose yourself above everybody else, because if not, they're just going to keep robbing you and depleting you and draining your energy. And you're going to have nothing to show for it, and they're going to have nothing to give you in return for draining your energy. You just have a depleted energy at the end of the day. So in this season, you cannot afford, right? Your mental health rides on that. You cannot afford to put yourself last, because your mental health is riding on that, on you being healthy, on you putting yourself first, on you taking care of yourself. Your financial health, right, is time's up for, right, letting people borrow this and not giving it back. Letting people borrow, not giving it back. Your you're just health all around. So if this message is for you, set those healthy boundaries. Set those healthy boundaries, because that life that you want to live is on the other side of those healthy boundaries. All right. So I love y'all. I hope that bless y'all. I love y'all. Be blessed.